Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. So, today is going to be a long video, and it's because I'm going to talk about three separate things and they're all interconnected. So, what am I going to talk about today? One is I'm going to currently talk about closing a chapter, another chapter in my life. Two is the situation with Gaza and Palestine. And three is the question that gets asked, why did you leave? And how to answer that question. Because for the past month, I've been thinking of a way to answer that question. Of the best way to answer that question, at least the best way, from my opinion, to answer that question. Because the thing, I'm going to tell you why as well, because there's certain things that employees say that trigger an alarm inside the HR's head, as HR myself. So here we go. So I left Ivy STEM school a month and 2 days ago. I've learned a lot in there. I had a lot of friends, acquaintances that people taught me. I've learned a lot of things, and it's a chapter that got closed. Am I upset about it that I closed this chapter and that I gave my notice and I left them? A bit. I'm not gonna lie and say that everything is fine. No. It's just working for 10 months. I've worked there for 10 months. This is where I'm gonna get a little bit emotional, but I worked with amazing people. I worked with a manager that was more of a mother than a manager before she left, and then I got another leader, another boss as well, who's also equally good. But when I went to Ivy STEM, I was told that they wanted to revamp the HR. They wanted to redo the HR. So redo the HR we did. For 10 months we worked, me and Dr. Russia. Of course, credit goes to where credit due. Dr. Russia herself was the inspiration to actually get back to get over my stagnant inability to learn, and to start learning again, to start enjoying to learn again, and enjoy. Yeah, I'm gonna get emotional, so that's why I'm doing a lot of the sighing. It's just I'm trying to control my emotions while I'm talking this one. It's been hard to talk about it, but it's time to close the chapter, and because it's time to close the chapter, so I'm basically closing the chapter. But I worked with her for about 8 months. We worked together for 8 months before she left, and I did not know I had it in me. I did not know that I had it in me to actually create HR from scratch. With her help, and with her guidance, and with her immense knowledge, I've learned a lot from her, and I owe her a lot. I owe her. I genuinely owe her a lot. I don't know if she's going to listen to this or not, but if you do listen to this, you're an amazing human being. You are. And you're in my top 5. Like I tell people, I can count the amount of good people on one hand. well, I used to say on like 3 fingers, but now it's like they're 5 fingers. But yeah, but it's in one hand. And seeing your baby grow and literally watch an entire department grow and work on it and try and do your best on it and just come up with policies. The policies, it was props to you guys who do policies. Props. Because I sat down like doing some of the policies and I'm literally looking at it going and like bawling because I was like, like it makes sense, it makes logical sense to go a certain way, but then when you look at the legality of the situation, it's like that's not legal, and I'm like, but it makes sense. And it's a good, like, the legality thing, there's some things that were good, like they were like good, but they were in the labor law of Egypt, they were not legal, and I was like, but it's a good thing, and it's just and there's like other ones that were like other policies that were just like the discipline policy, that policy, coming up with a discipline policy that is both fair and just is insane. Like, you can get it to be fair but not just, you can get it to be just but not fair. Getting it both, because if this is where I'm gonna hit the second one with the God thing, but this is basically, so getting a policy done with the discipline that is both just and fair is almost impossible. Almost. And when I got it done, it was, again, with the help of Dr. Russia, when we got it done, I was elevated. I was like, yes, we got it done. But then at the same time, I was like, crap. Because I realized that by making it just and fair, basically there was no tolerance in that policy. In the discipline, there was a no tolerance policy for some things. And I was like, but I've seen that in reality where these situations happens, where situations like the ones that are within the discipline would happen, and they would happen for a certain reason. They're just the reason wasn't as clear cut as you can get, but it's just unfair. And I'm sitting there going like, I get it now. I get why some disciplines, I would sit down sometimes and I'll be like, yeah, this is fair, but it's not just. I'm like, because there's a reason why they're doing this. There's a reason why veterans do it, or why people who have high experiences in HR do it, is high experiences in strategy do it. That was one thing. And then the other one, the retention plan. Oh boy, the retention plan. I had to go back to the books. I literally had to go back to the books that I've read in bachelor's and just like switch through it and go like, okay, so what am I supposed to do again? And again, it was with the help of Dr. Russia. It was, for 8 months, it was like purely like blood and effort, and it's just like, and then she left. And with new management comes new expectations. And boy, was I just like sitting down going like, okay, hi, what am I supposed to do now? Because on the one hand, and this is something that I want to touch base with, is the concept of loyalty. Because a lot of people say, oh, you gotta be loyal to the company. Oh no, you're not loyal to the company. Let's get one thing straight. Your loyalty does not stay with the company. Your loyalty stays with whoever was the best, like whoever was like kind to you, whoever was like good to you. Yes, you have an obligation to be good to the company because you're HR. Therefore, you have to have the best interest of the company or the institution in your heart. But, and this is the biggest but, your loyalties don't wait there. And owners need to understand this part. The loyalty does not stay with the institution. If the institution's environment does not foster loyalty, you're not going to get loyalty. And then the complaining of like, well, they're not being loyal. Well, yeah, they're not going to be loyal. for me to switch off from being miserable every single day to accepting a new management, to accepting a new way of teaching, a new way of thinking, it took me a month to take that. It took me a month to get to like I still working, still doing whatever you do, but the effort placed within the job with the right management, which is why I'm very, 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 very keen about telling people you gotta hire the right people, because this is exactly what happens if you're either ways you're doing your effort, because you as an employee need to like give it your all. But the amount of effort you put in with the right management versus the wrong management, it is a huge difference. Because with the so let me say it in a different way. With the right management, you are willing to put in weekends. You're willing to put in weekends. You're willing to put on like extra hour overtime. You're willing to do everything. And you literally go above and beyond what you normally do, and you ignore a lot of the work-life balance that you have and you need. You ignore it for the right management, because they motivate you and you have this undenying loyalty that you want them to succeed, so you're gonna do whatever it takes to get them to succeed as a good employee, which is again why it's very, very, very important to have a good management, to be the right person. And it's not about discipline. I mean, this is the other thing, and again, I'm sorry that I'm going to be a little bit emotional, but it's not about discipline. It's not about the whole carrot and stick. The whole concept of carrot and stick is absolutely horrible. You can't be good cop, bad cop. You gotta be either one or the other. The concept of good cop, bad cop is not even good. And I've seen that happen so many times in so many organizations, where two managers will be like, one will be like the good cop and the bad cop, and I'm like, no, you're dealing with human beings with complex emotions and the complexity of a human being does not go into, oh, I'm just going to reward them so they can be more motivated, or I'm going to punish them so that they can have fear. Again, if we look at it from a whole different point of perspective, you're creating a toxic environment. And now let's define what toxic environment is, because a lot of people think that toxic environment means, oh, I'm just gonna be like, this is bad, the other. No. Toxic environment is an environment where you literally make the employee reach a point where they are constantly crying. No matter what you do, no matter what you think you're doing, no matter how good you think you are, no matter whatever you do, they're gonna cry. They are going to cry. They're going to reach a point where they're literally going to do what I'm currently doing, which is like going around and around. I'm just waiting for like something to open, but you're going to go around and around debating whether they want to go into the work or not. They're going to get sicker. They're going to physically get sicker. They're going to physically get more emotional. You're going to get and I'm sorry for the trigger warning for the dark theme now, but you're going to get higher suicide rates. That's how bad it gets. How bad people don't understand it. And that's just the first part. I'm gonna close now and talk about the rest of it in the next video. So bye for now.